Shemai, I'm going to do a review of this today, which is the Blackstar Carry-On Travel Bass Guitar. So the name, it is a bit of a mouthful. The Blackstar Carry-On Travel Bass Guitar. Let's just look at that for a second. Right? A lot of people are calling it the Travel Bass by Blackstar. I'm sort of calling it a mini bass because it is very, very, very similar in size and scale to both the Kala solid body U bass and the Flight mini bass. Blackstar are calling this a bass guitar. And yeah, it is more like a bass guitar than it is an electroacoustic bass ukulele or U bass with the polyurethane strings, because this has got magnetic pickups, round wound strings, and is much more like a bass guitar to play. I've already done a quick first video of it, an unboxing and things. The reason I wanted to do the unboxing was because I bought this from Gear for Music, so I really wanted to see what it was like out of the box. So if you haven't seen that already, I'll pop a link in the description below for that one. So yeah, Gear for Music, £199. Okay, a very reasonable cost in my opinion anyway. I'll run through some of the specs and features now, and then we'll do a little sound demo. So slightly cheaper than the Flight and the Kala. It comes in this vintage white with a black pickguard and all black as well. I admit when I first saw this I wasn't actually that interested. The shape on it, not really my thing, but I've got to admit the more I've had it and the more I've played it, it really has grown on me. So according to the specs on the Blackstar site, underneath this lovely cream colour, it's a poplar wood body. It says maple neck, okay. Looks quite dark for a maple, if I'm honest, but there we are. And a laurel fingerboard. It is fretted and it's got 18 frets. Right, the scale. So we're talking from the nut down to the saddle is 23.46 inches. I'm being quite precise. I have measured this. I had a comment left the other day because when the Flight mini bass came out, the specs on the website were wrong and it was claiming it was a 20-inch scale. It's not, it's 23.5 inch, which is pretty much what this is as well. And I recently had a comment saying somebody'd phoned Thomann and Thomann said it was 20 inch. Yeah, somebody in Thomann is sat in a customer service desk, all right? They're not there actually measuring, but I do measure these. So this is pretty similar to both the Flight Mini and the Kala solid body U bass, again coming in at 23 inches 46. Okay, so the overall length from the bottom of the body up to the top of the headstock is 34 inches. The nut width underneath my little fret wrap here, it's a sort of plastic nut, is 40 mil, so that's fairly standard. And the weight, because I know that is important for some of you, it's coming in at 2.43 kilograms or 5 pounds 5 ounces. Okay, I will do comparisons with this with both the Kala solid body and the Flight mini bass as well, just to give an idea of how heavy or lighter this one is compared to the others. I've mentioned pickups. They are magnetic, so this really is much more like a bass guitar to play. Offset coil pickup or a precision bass style. It's got a volume control and a tone control. They are in chrome. We've got an adjustable bridge and saddle in chrome. The tuners, they are sealed tuners, okay, also in chrome. It's a bolt-on neck, as we can see by there, and it comes with 2 strap buttons. And when you're playing these sort of basses, strap buttons are really important. Other features I quite like, the jet black headstock with the Blackstar logo on it. It has got fret markers as well. It came from Gear for Music, okay. In terms of basic quality control, the frets are nice and smooth, no issues there. I have lowered the action a fraction. All right, not loads, but a little bit. And I have adjusted the intonation slightly on it. All the strings seemed to be slightly sharp at 12th fret. If you're not sure how to alter action and intonation, I have quite recently done a video on it. It's on an electric ukulele, but it's exactly the same principle, okay? So it wasn't too bad coming out of the box, but I have done a little bit of setup on it. So what more can I say, really? It's a passive bass, okay? There's no battery or anything in that. On the back it says designed in the UK by Blackstar Amplification. I know they also do a guitar style in this as well. All right, so, you know, if you're a bass guitarist looking to go smaller, maybe for travel or for health reasons or anything, or you're a bass ukulele player looking to get more into the sort of sound from a bass guitar, or if you were quite young, maybe a child, and you're looking to play bass, but you know, you're not ready to handle a big full-size bass, I think there's a lot of potential with these for a lot of players. Couple of other little things I want to mention before we hear it. This doesn't come with a case. All right, I think you can buy a case, certainly on Gear for Music, round about the £40 mark, so that does push the price up a little bit, and it's got round wound strings on it. Now, you know, I've played many bass guitars over the years with round wounds. I do really prefer flat wound strings. As a double bass player, I quite like not having that sound with round wounds, but what I have done, after I've done this review, I wanted to do the review of the bass as it was. I've actually bought myself a set of Ernie Ball Slinky flat wounds. Now, I did a bit of research on this, first of all. All right, I'm quite prepared to cut these down in terms of the right length. But what I've noticed with both this and the Kala Solid Body is the string gauge. Okay, one of the things with these shorter scale instruments is to be able to get it in tune, you really do need to go with a slightly heavier gauge. So I've actually bought, and I have no idea this is going to work, all right, but I've bought a heavier gauge of these. So these are actually 55, 75, 90, 110 gauge for the strings. I don't know if they will work or not, but when I change them over, I'll let you guys know. I am really enjoying playing this. There is one little moan I have about the actual design of this, and other people pointed it out as well when I was unboxing it, is the placement of the jack cable input. All right, it's, if you sit down to play, it is really quite close to where you'd have this on your lap. All right, I've been using a right angle in here. Standing up, absolutely no problem at all, all right? But when you're sitting down, you just have to be aware that you don't want that, certainly if it's sticking out with a normal straight cable, in your leg. So just for a minute, I'm going straight from bass into amp, all right? I will put a couple of pedals on in a minute or two just to hear the difference, but here we go. See what I mean about it sounding a lot more like a bass guitar, and of course you've got the round wound noise as well. It is fun to play. Now, obviously, if you're going from full scale 34-inch bass guitar, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, okay? And it is just slightly longer in scale than an electroacoustic bass ukulele, which tend to be around about 20-21 inches. And yeah, you could get away playing one of these in a rock band, heavy metal, country, swing, even your ukulele group. Right, that was with no pedals, preamps or anything like that, just straight from bass into amp. And just in case, it's a Gensler 350 or Gensler MG 350 going into a barefaced 110 cab. So I'm just going to plug in my little BU FX on my bass uke pedal board. I've got a compressor on here, I've got an EQ, and I have got my V-Tone BDI 21, which is a preamp. Alright, so I'm just going to try the bass through these now as well. So everything is plugged in, but nothing is switched on at the minute. I just want to show you the tone control before we start putting any effects on it. So full bass. My normal playing position is just roll that off a little bit, but still very much of the bass side. And then full treble. Okay, so that is everything, no effects. Okay, so. BDI, or the V-Tone Behringer BDI. I do, for such a cheap little pedal, I think it makes an incredible difference. And of course, remember, this is passive, so BDI back off at the minute. Let's have a little bit of compression with my bass, preacher, electro harmonics. Without compressor. With compressor. Just a little bit of EQ. BDI, V-Tone and compressor. Oof, that gets quite bassy there, doesn't it? So there we go. The Blackstar Carry On Travel Bass Guitar, or I sort of refer to it as the Blackstar Travel Mini Bass, in a lovely vintage white or cream with black and chrome. £199. I got this one from Gear for Music, which is a big box music shop here in the UK. I think they have been or are going to be available in the US, Australia, Europe, around the world, but I don't know about the availability. It's a little bit hit and miss already with them in this country, but I do think at £199 that is a good value instrument. It is more than playable. I've had to do a little bit of setting up with the action and the intonation, but everything else works perfectly well. The overall build quality of it is brilliant. I did mention when I first unboxed it, there's a tiny little mark here under one of the bolts, but apart from that, the paintwork looks good. It's got nice smooth frets, and I am going to have a go of putting flat wounds on here, just because I prefer flat wounds. And I'm thinking, well, the worst case is I can always put the original round wounds back on. There is no case with it, but you can buy a case separately, and it does fit in the Kala solid body U-bass case and my Fender Squier Mini case that I bought for my Fanner as well. These basses are just a little bit too long to fit in most U-bass standard cases. So the more I play it, the more I own it, the more it is growing on me, I've got to admit. It is a cracking little bass, you know. If you're old like me and don't want to carry big, heavy, full-size bass guitars around, or you fancy playing something a bit more like a bass guitar as opposed to an electroacoustic bass ukulele, you know, the ones with the polyurethane or rubber strings, this is certainly very, very different from that. If you'd like to support me, either here on Ukulele Wales or on my Ukulelians channel, I do have a Patreon page, and I'll drop a link in the description below for that. I do hope you've enjoyed this review video. I've certainly enjoyed doing it, and now I've done this, I can try out some flat wound strings on here. As always though, if you've got any comments or questions, please feel free, leave them below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.